hosted by ElevateEdAZ, the Center for the Future of Arizona, and the Arizona Business and Education Coalition. As a reminder, we ask that you please keep your cameras on for the duration of the session. Ensure that your microphone is on mute if you're not speaking. Today's session is hosted by Dircks from Dircks Moving and Logistics, and he is going to be speaking on career path opportunities, resources for career exploration, and technical employability skills needed in industry. All right, Rick, if you want to take it away.
Okay, I'll take it away. Well, thanks for having me. It's fun to be here. I just first want to thank all the teachers for being teachers. You guys are extremely valuable. I know it helped mold me into what I am, and I've got two kids that a little later I'll mention something about them as it relates to what we're talking about. I have a 21 and 24-year-old who I can honestly say the education system has really molded them into a couple of pretty good young girls. And of course, I'm not biased at all with, but they've had that I think really helped them kind of steer them in a direction, which is good. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing. You're really the backbone of things. I know I heard this morning, I heard a webinar with the 3 university presidents from the 3 Arizona universities. And it was really interesting because to a person, they all said the biggest thing we could do to improve the economy of Arizona is getting kids through school and doing well and all that. It was really interesting how they really felt strongly about that. So I thought that was kind of neat to hear, knowing that I was going to have a chance to talk to you guys. So with that, what I'll do is I'm going to go to part of the time, I'll go to a PowerPoint presentation so you can see something else besides my mug. And then some of the times I'll have it off. But please, at any time, make it interactive. I'm kind of a wing it kind of person. So I have a tendency just to kind of ramble here and there. So if something doesn't make sense or you want me to jump in, by all means, but please do. So with that, I'm not the most technical guy, but we're going to see if I can pull this one off. Look at that. I think I did it. So what I'm going to talk about today is, first of all, I'm going to give you an overview of our company, what we're all about, talk just a little bit of background about who we are. Then I'm going to talk about really career paths in 2 areas. One is going to be something that really doesn't get talked about very much. That's, I don't know, kind of a romantic reputation is a occupation, one that's really fallen from grace. And I think it's really appropriate for a lot of people. And that's a long-haul truck driver. You don't hear about them very much, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the possibilities. I think it's really for some people, obviously not all. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about logistics. And we, part of our company is a logistics company. So I'm going to talk a little bit about opportunities there. Everyone knows a little bit about Amazon and kind of what a machine they become. Well, I like to think we're a little tiny mini Amazon in what we do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about opportunities in that world. And then I'm going to finish up on a couple of relatively short things. Number one, kind of I mentioned my daughters. I'm going to talk about some of the things they probably got sick of hearing me say, but a few tips on career preparation and professional development. And then finally, I'll talk a little bit about just some things that, having interviewed a lot of people in my lifetime, I'm just going to have, I think, 5 or 6 tips about interviewing that, gosh, if people did that, I think they'd be so much further ahead. So with that, I'll talk a little bit about our company and about me. So there's just some bullet points. I'll kind of buzz through these pretty fast. So what Dircks is we are a moving company that's 30 years old. My brother and I started this company in 1990 here in Phoenix. I'm an ASU grad. He's an ASU grad. We were both living in California, coming from the Midwest initially, and I like it. And we landed back here in Arizona. And we found a business. I was one of these guys growing up. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was kind of pushed by my parents, never given an option. You're going to go to college. So not having an option to do anything else. And growing up in Minnesota, I did what any logical kid would do and moved to Arizona. out of the cold. So anyway, my brother and me started this company 30 years ago, and we now have 150 employees. We do about $28 million of revenue. So I would call us a typical smaller to mid-sized company in terms of employee size and all that. We're still obviously a small business compared to a lot of the big guys, but we are big enough we can't do things by the seat of our pants anymore like we used to. So we are the largest moving company in the state of Arizona. We would be most recognized generally in the public by our affiliation with Mayflower. We're kind of a franchise, for lack of better terms, for Mayflower Van Line. So we have the big green, white and green semis going around the road. So we do residential moves. So we move families, which again is what we're more known for anywhere across country or around the world as far as that goes. And then we also do commercial moving and logistics and things. I'll get into a little bit of that here shortly. So we're the third of all the Mayflower agents. There's like 400 of us all around the country. We're the third largest in the country. So we're considered a big company, even though in general terms, we're a small company, really. We have 5 warehouses in the state of Arizona. We have operation in Phoenix and Tucson. I like to say we're an equal opportunity mover. I'm an ASU guy, but we also sponsor U of A, and we actually have 2 semis. One of them that's painted with ASU with Sparky, one of them with Wilbur and U of A. So we haul football equipment around for the 2 teams when they go on road games. So those that think I'm an over-the-top ASU guy, in my underbelly, there's a little bit of U of A there. So anyway, so we have 5 warehouses within Phoenix and Tucson, and about 75 trucks rolling down the street. So it seems like people never notice them until they have a need for us, or if they just move this. Other than that, they're just kind of trucks like any other truck. A quick comment about our culture and kind of what we're all about as a business. We are all about quality. We're all about doing it right. We're about customer satisfaction and creating great experience for people that are utilizing our service. So we really believe in trying to do things well. Kind of a trite old statement, but I use it quite a bit, is do what's right. We're in a very stressful business. They say the 3 most stressful things in life are death, divorce, and moving is number 3. So we realize we're dealing with kind of whacked out people, and we try to be sensitive to that when we're dealing with people. So we really, that's a big thing about our code of culture. We like awards. We go for awards. We want all our people to be number 1. So a couple things we've done. We've gotten a couple awards at ASU. Currently, we're members of Sundell 100, which is basically 100 Sun Devil-owned businesses. We were the Small Business of the Year a number of years ago for the Phoenix Chamber. And we've 3 times now, we've been a finalist for the Ethics Award for Better Business Bureau. So we believe in, again, doing things right. We're very, very community involved. My brother is very involved in the industry and is on a lot of boards for the moving industry. I'm on a bunch of community boards. Right now, I sit on 8 board of directors, so I'm very involved with the community chamber, Better Business Bureau, GCU, I'm in a board there, St. Vincent de Paul, an advisory board there. So kind of a wide variety of things. Also, Fiesta Bowl, I'm a football fan, so I'm real involved with the Fiesta Bowl and love all about that. So, and thankfully they'll be playing one this year, which is kind of cool. So now about kind of a little more specifically what we're all about. We have 3 divisions in our company. We do household goods, which is moving families. We have business services, which is mainly moving companies and plants and things. And we do a lot of storing of things. Today, our biggest area we store PPE, like it's going out of style. We have about 3,000 pallets of PPE supplies for Banner Health, for Mayo Clinic, for Honor Health. Everyone kind of got caught a little short, as we know from reading the newspapers, about not enough that because those supplies were made so much overseas. So everyone's stocked up, and we have warehouses full of that. So that's a little bit about that. I talked a little bit about our core values, that we're all about being customer centric, and we're about doing things right. We really believe in trying to utilize technology as best we can to save on expense and be more efficient. And we believe in the leadership, both in the community as well as the industry, which I mentioned. I'll kind of buzz through this. I mentioned already, culture is important. I always say in business, they keep score for a reason. Kind of like in sports, we like to win. So anytime there's a contest of any kind, we believe in trying to be first in anything we do. So that's kind of our culture around our company. Now a little bit about what we do. I mentioned that we do family moves. So we do moves on behalf of corporations. So they would be our our buyer. ASU, we do employee moves for them. Discount Tire, Honor Health. So we have a variety of companies when they go to transfer somebody, we handle that for them, as well as just moving individually. So anybody that wants to move, we handle local moves or long distance moves. I mentioned we do commercial moving, meaning we do office moves and labs. That's kind of become a niche of ours too. We do a lot of hospital and university lab moves. We move researchers with their delicate equipment and freezers. They have to move full of all their samples, things like that. So that's a little interesting field. And then we also do logistics services, and really what logistics services what makes up that is warehousing, internet fulfillment. I said we're a mini Amazon. Well, we're really a mini Amazon, about probably half of 1% the size they are, but we do kitting things. We've actually been the ones for SnorQuest Labs. We kit all the COVID-19 kits for them that they actually take out to market so people get tested. So we do that as well as a lot of other stuff. So what I'm going to do now, assuming I can figure this out, is I've got two really short, like minute and 15-second videos that I wanted to show, which is really just gives a little more definition into what we do in a big picture, and kind of shows it's a little visual about the business. So first of all, our business services, which is our commercial moving. On that work.
We can't hear your sound, so you have to share your sound along with your screen.
Uh-oh. How do I do that?
You'll want to pause it first and then stop sharing your screen. And then when you go to share it, you have to share the sound as well.
Okay, stop sharing my screen.
Correct.
Okay.
And then once you share screen again, you'll notice there's going to be two small like check boxes at the bottom. And then it'll say just share computer audio. That's when you want to click that.
Okay, so when I do share screen, that is not showing. Once I've got the screen shared, or
No,
back.
you want to do it before you share the screen. So like on the options that pop up, there's like
Okay.
those little ticks.
One participant can share at a time, multiple participants can share. Multiple?
No, it should say sharing audio.
I've got advanced sharing options. Multiple. To start sharing. I don't seem to have it. I have a mute, but that's just for me talking, right?
So it
Okay,
should
so-
say like screen one or like your different tabs, and then it says share computer sound or optimize sharing screen for video.
Share computer sound. That it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just snipping the tool, but you got it.
I was let's just get ready to give up, guys. Okay.
No.
Oh, you're so good. This is what we've had to learn the whole time. So this is nothing.
I can
you,
sit in front of
Carly.
200 people and talk fine, and put me in front of a Zoom camera and I'm dead in the water.
Oh no.
Okay. Uh-oh, oh.
Hi, my name is Matt Dircks. I'm with Dircks Moving and Logistics. Although we're headquartered in Phoenix, we wanted an opportunity to service our East Valley customers even better. Our newest facility, located just down the street from our partner, Arizona State University, offers 60,000 square feet of climate-controlled storage space. Our newest location is home to our newest division, our Business Services Division. Come with me as I show you inside. Our new Business Services Division services customers that are looking for office moves, lab moves, equipment moves, and specialized hospitality projects like hotel redesigns or new hospital construction. Our newest facility is 60,000 square feet with over 3,000 pallet positions and 20,000 square feet of floor storage that allows us to store oversized items, unusual items, and hospitality projects. This facility is climate controlled, 24-hour secured and alarmed, and access control. This new facility, our first in the East Valley, allows us to better service our customers in Tempe, Scottsdale, Chandler, and Gilbert.
We are excited to continue to grow Dircks Business Services and look forward to continuing to assist with all of your business services needs with the same level of care and expertise that you have come to expect from the Dircks family of companies. For more information, visit us today at dircks.com.
Okay, now real quick, I'm gonna do one that's gonna show our, I guess call our Amazon Light.
Dircks Logistics is a third-party logistics provider offering full-service integrated warehouse, fulfillment, and distribution solutions. Our distribution facility dedicates 200,000 square feet for third-party logistics warehouse space and includes over 50,000 square feet of air-conditioned, climate-controlled space. Our experienced staff, warehouse management system, and full local fleet of lift-gate-equipped trucks help companies of all sizes develop scalable logistics solutions to fit evolving business needs. Our services include inventory management, fulfillment and distribution, value-added services such as kitting and point-of-sale display, final mile delivery and white glove delivery service, cross-docking and consolidation. Our united approach to warehousing and distribution ensures that your supply chain functions perfectly and offers your customers fast response in a competitive marketplace. Our Phoenix headquarters is conveniently located right off of the I-10 with a direct route to Los Angeles and is 20 minutes from Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Call us today or visit our website to learn more about what Dircks Logistics can do for you.
Okay, I survived that. Okay, so that is that's just a kind of a snapshot of what we do, and I especially wanted to play the last one because I'm going to talk a little bit about opportunities in logistics, supply chain, things like that, because that's become really a lot bigger deal, and it interests a lot of kids these days that are trying to work on that, and the pandemic has really shown need for more of that. So what I want to talk about first briefly is long haul truck driver. Again, it's kind of one of those occupations that's becoming a lost art, and we have a terrible shortage of truck drivers in the world today. I mean, I believe there's close to 500,000 truck drivers. So obviously there's a lot of people that do this job, but people don't want to do it anymore. And I think a lot of that is just the whole being on the road a lot. And it's not a difficult job, but it's a time-consuming job, and you're on the road a lot. So I'll just tell you a little bit about what that would look like at our company, as well as what it looks like with other companies. Long-haul truck drivers are, generally speaking, they're independent contractors. So they're really their own business people, which is kind of a cool career opportunity for some people. I've seen some truck drivers that started off in one of our trucks, and we make them an employee, and we pay them as an employee, and then they actually go out and buy their own truck and become their own business person. So it's really kind of a cool opportunity to start your own small business, and it can be complex or it can be very simple depending on what it is you're doing. In our case, our drivers go cross country, and they're actually the ones going into people's homes. They're loading, everything somebody owns into a big semi and driving across country, which again is a nerve-wracking experience for the people. So they become kind of part psychologists too when they're performing their job, because they're dealing with people in a very stressful time. But a truck driver generally spends most of their time actually behind the wheel driving. The government has gotten really, really strict, and for good reason, because of safety protocols, that they'll let us only drive 500 miles a day. You can't drive and work the same day, depending upon how many hours you have. Everything's electronic now. They have logs that actually track how many hours a day they drive, things like that. So it's also become a very safe occupation, and compared to some of the old days when you hear stories of the drivers going cross country on no sleep and things like that. That's just not allowed anymore. But drivers start off, these guys usually start off, and gals, there's a lot of female truck drivers too now. They start off generally in the neighborhood of $30,000 or $40,000, but some will make as much as $250,000 per year, depending what they're doing. So our average driver, once they pay their basic expenses, is making between $75,000 and $100,000. So there's really some decent money to be made at it. And I think one of the things that I like about our drivers talk quite a bit, the experiences they have doing it. Not a lot want to do it for 20 or 30, 40 years, but some people love doing, especially young people will do it and say, I'm gonna do this for 3 or 4 or 5 years till I figure out what I want to do with my life. As well as, it's an opportunity to get to know people and make some money. Some don't have a home, so they actually live in their truck, which is it's actually a good way to save money. If you've ever noticed in semis, the back part of the tractor itself that the driver is driving sometimes can be bigger than others. Well, there are some of those that literally you can walk inside of it. You have a kitchen, you have bunk beds, you have microwave. I mean, they're basically mini apartments that these people are driving in. So there's actually some decent opportunities. So our guys have a tendency to be a little at the higher end of income, but they do a little more work. They have to deal with customers. The typical truck driver today, though, what they normally do is they literally pull up to a loading dock at a distribution center, a grocery store, wherever, and someone loads their truck for them, and they stand around and wait till it's loaded. They get in the truck and they start driving. And that's literally what they do. So from a standpoint of being difficult, it's not difficult from a work standpoint, because people assume that truck drivers work, you know, physically really hard. Some do, but a lot of them really don't. So again, it's just there's such a huge need for them right now, and there's a real shortage. And when I talked about our supply chain that's kind of been disrupted in this pandemic, meaning there's just not enough ways to get products to market. You know, all we have to do is think about toilet paper. A few months ago, obviously, it was a real problem with that. They couldn't get enough made, and then when they did able to produce it, they had trouble getting it in onto the shelves of the stores. So it's a real challenge, and a lot of that has become just from a lack of truck drivers. So I just wanted to touch upon that, because I know when KC, when we talked initially and said, well, what are kind of some of the occupations I think would be kind of interesting to talk about? I thought I'd just throw it in because it's something people don't talk about much, but there's a huge need for it, and it's kind of a fun living again for most people, short term. Get to see the whole country and all that, but obviously you're away from home a lot. One funny anecdote about that, and then I'll go to the next topic is, I know some drivers have been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years. Usually the toughest thing for a driver to do is get off the road. It's hard on a marriage, because a lot of the drivers are used to being very independent. They're not home much. Suddenly they come home, and for those of you that have been working, working off-site and have to go back home again, spouses sometimes aren't real crazy about you being home a lot. So we found that to be a real problem with people. So, but we'll leave that one alone anymore, because I have a wife that thinks the same thing about me right now. So, anyway, so that's driving a truck. Second one, I'll pause here before I go to the next item. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, comments? If you do, please ask away about the lifestyle of a truck driver.
I'll just throw in one quick question. Are there part-time jobs available for truck drivers typically, or is that generally a full-time position?
No, absolutely. And what I've been referring to mainly is really long-haul drivers go cross country. There's actually a bigger need, and there are more jobs available for local driving. So literally, sometimes it's regional. It might go between Phoenix and LA, but you're home every night. Other drivers just drive locally. The grocery store drivers are a great example. They go to a distribution center and they literally have a route of going to 4, 5, 6 Safeways day. They're home again. But the need for part-time is also very important, especially from a seasonal standpoint. Obviously around the holidays, anybody that's heard stories about Amazon, they hire like 3,000, 4,000 people just for the holidays. Our facility is about 4 blocks from Amazon. They literally have police there directing traffic during the Thanksgiving to Christmas season, because the traffic that's created by just the number of packages and trucks and drivers going through. So there's definitely a need for part-time, and the two real classifications of drivers, CDL, as long as some of the drivers truck like a U-Haul type, hire drivers that can we don't have. So the question is, it's definitely part-time, full-time. We need them. Okay, so moving on to the second part, then we'll talk a little bit about. I've been talking about change, so families and that kind of thing.
I'm gonna break in. Is anybody else having trouble with Rick's audio?
Yeah, it
I
seems
am.
like
Yeah.
Yes.
It's cutting in and out.
Rick, you may
Tracking.
you may need to cut your video, perhaps.
Okay. Why don't I doing that? And that goes. Okay.
Still kind of choppy.
I'm still having trouble hearing.
Okay.
It's a good suggestion that maybe we turn our cameras off. That might help. We can try that.
Okay. And I've got a secondary computer. I don't know if that'll help or hurt. But I can always.
I'm good now.
Does it sound better?
A lot better, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more clear.
I'll talk really fast. Okay. So as I was saying, is when we talk about the logistics side of career path, we've got really a lot of different areas that can go. It can go from more the blue collar, not needing college degrees, to all the way up to, people who have very technical IT kind of backgrounds, may go up to a master's degree. So I'll kind of start a little bit at the top. Logistics anymore I kind of liken it to putting a puzzle together. There's a lot of pieces to it, a lot of technology to how can we get products to market. Really what logistics / supply chain is all about is how do we get products that have been produced by somebody to the market as best we can. When I talked about toilet paper, that was really a good example of the system breaking down. In that case, it was mainly a supply issue. They just couldn't make it fast enough. So much is made overseas. But there are also a lot of issues. I mean, the COVID testing, there was a problem initially getting enough tests to market just because they couldn't produce it fast enough, and then you couldn't get to market. So there's a lot of the universities. One thing that's really become in vogue is a supply chain major. I work with both ASU and GCU. GCU is just beginning a supply chain major there for this very reason that we're trying to figure out a way to get stuff to market faster. I think between ASU and GCU, I want to say there's like 3,000 kids that are in that major today. So it's become a really popular thing, but it also, from a business standpoint, it allows businesses to keep expenses low as they can, because obviously the object of business is produce a product or service, be able to charge as much as you can and have to pay as little as you can to produce and get it to market, which leads to good profitability. So anyway, there are a lot of careers now opening up, including with us, to how can people figure out ways to get it there faster. And really, it's a technology play. Warehouse software, I don't know if anyone's ever had a chance to do a tour of Amazon's warehouse. It's very robotic and very automated, and a lot of technical people have developed how to do it, but it also takes people to keep the robotics working, as well as they still have people pulling stuff off shelves and doing that. So you have a lot of areas that from very technical to very manual they have to do, and us kind of being Amazon Light. So I've never called us that before, but it's really what we are. We have the same situation. We have the more technical people that need to figure out a way to create more efficiencies within a warehouse setting. How can you unload a truck fast? Where can you position things? How can you set up a warehouse to put pallet racking in a warehouse to maximize the space? How can you find things as fast as you can? One thing that's really interesting about Amazon is their warehouse, they do not put products in similar products in similar places. There could be 10, just as an example, 10 iPads. Those 10 iPads are in different corners of the warehouse because software has got sophisticated enough that you get a barcode and your computer tells you automatically where that one single item is. Something goes and picks it out of there and pulls it up. So technology has become a big deal in the warehousing world. And then you have other side factors associated with that. Cybersecurity has obviously become a really big deal and is necessary in the logistics and supply chain world because you're always trying to make sure your technology is one step ahead of the bad guys because the bad guys are getting smarter and smarter. So we got to keep the good guys one step ahead of them. So supply chain and logistics really has a very large variety of people. We personally at Dircks, when we hire people, we have about 30 people on our logistics side of our business supply chain. We literally go from, oh, you still got me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes,
Okay.
you hear.
Okay, good. My screen just went kind of funky on me here. But anyway, so we you know, when we're hiring people, I think I was just talking more about how we do hiring, because we have about 30 roughly supply chain people. So we go from some that, you know, high school degree on up to college degree. And again, we have a couple people with masters that are really the people that are the analytical guys. But we also find, as a hiring entity, which this will kind of morph into some of the career preparation stuff, that we care much more about the person than their background in terms of education. And while we obviously know that's important in certain areas of what we do, in other areas, we're looking for good people that have good ethics, that have good work habits, et cetera, that obviously have the behaviors that we want, because in advancing, and especially a small business like us, there's really no limits to advancing through organization, and it's on how they're good people, as well as having technical skills at doing what they're doing. But obviously, we're not a real technical business as far as that goes too. So that's just a little bit of an overview of some of the people we have. I guess the final thing I'll say regarding that is, we believe very strongly in climbing the ladder and working up from one position to another. One of our best team members, who's now a customer service manager, started off as our receptionist. She had her high school degree. She was going to school online, and now she's become a manager. She's got her degree, but she started off as a frontline receptionist and has just worked her way up. So we're really proud of her for doing that. We try to promote that as much as we can. We've also learned on the other side that we've had a tendency, and I think we all do in business, we promote too quickly. So we've also promoted people to a level that they didn't have a good confidence level. And that can be trouble too, because you can lose a good employee because you promote them above their standard of being able to do work, that type of work. And some people want to do frontline work. Some people want to do management work. Some people want to do everything in between. So we really, we try to find a good fit to that person. But obviously, I love to be around people that want to advance, and it might not even be advance a position, but learn more about their job and do a better job of what they're doing. We even had a person who, she loves being a mom, but needed to work. So with the pandemic, we found we had a lot of employees that had a little issue with, they have kids at home and they've got to take care of the kids. So we called it Dircks Kindergarten, that we actually had her stay on to take care of the kids while the parents worked. And we fortunately had enough people in that situation. So we had about 3 months that we had about 10 kids take up our conference room, and actually we're schooled in a sense, which was kind of a fun way to do things. So that's a little bit about, I guess, career possibilities at Dircks, and kind of our philosophy on how we hire and how we look for people to fill positions. So with that, I guess before I go on to the next part, any questions, thoughts, please share them.
This is Carly Batcha. I do have a question, but I'm not sure if we're gonna have time at the end to ask questions, or if you'd rather I ask it now.
Well, go ahead and do it now. I'm on the clock, so the stuff that I say later can wait till later. So go for it.
Awesome. Okay, so my name is Carly Batcha, and I teach a program called the Upward and Onward program. So it's a transition program where I teach students with special needs that already have their credits, but they're coming back to learn skills for succeeding in the home, the community, and then eventually a job or a workplace. So obviously, my whole goal is to make community connections during this program. And I really love that you've received the Ethics Award And I also love that you're involved in the community. And you said you're on the board for St. Vincent de Paul, I believe.
Yes.
And my students, when we are not in pandemic, actually go and work in their kitchen 1 day a week. So yeah, so all of my students have developmental and or intellectual disabilities. And I believe there's a lot of people on this meeting from my high school, the academies at South Mountain, that also teach special education. So my question for everyone these whole 2 weeks of the meetings is do you hire people with special needs? Do you have any accommodations within the hiring process or any types of supports for that?
That's a really good question. And again, we've actually just recently talked about that because we really haven't, but I think we have a desire to want to. I mean, we have probably 3 or 4 entry-level positions that I think would fit nicely with special needs people. You know, we have had, you know, in a couple positions, couple of like office type, like we had a guy that was with us probably 4 or 5 years that was helped out in the warehouse. So we have things do a lot of the basic services that we need around the office. That's right now, our guy that I think this would be a good position for is we have some of the basic keeps our office clean. So because we're a considered necessary essential business, we're open. We've been open the whole time. So we're obviously sensitive to making sure that, you know, doorknobs are kept clean and the bathrooms, all that kind of stuff. So I guess offline, I would love to hear more about it and talk more about it.
Oh, I already wrote down all your information. I'm like, oh, mini Amazon. Oh,
Yeah.
cleaning. A lot of the students' goals, you know, the program is great. There's not really modifications within the program because the program is already individualized to meet their needs and their interests. So like if students say like, oh, I want to be a veterinarian, we're like, well, you know, 8 more years of school, that's probably not obtainable, but why do you want to be a veterinarian? Oh, I want to work with animals. Oh, so do you think you could maybe file papers at a vet office or shred papers? So there's like a lot of different ways to make connections. So like if a student does like organizing, maybe they organize your pick tickets or they do your filing or, you know, they like cleaning. So I just wondered if you thought about that. And that's like kind of my goal. I know you're the first one today, but to talk to everybody about that because it seems like a lot of employers are interested working with employees with special needs. I just wondered kind of where they were in that process. And maybe.
No, I think that's great. I mean, one of the things that's cool. What I think about is when we have a problem with this too, is we're paperless. Unfortunately, we have a lot of paperwork. We then get rid of it. We do a lot. We have a person that probably it's 2/3 of a job scanning paperwork into our system. Example of that type of job, I think would be great to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rick. I wrote down your information and I can definitely see myself getting back in contact to talk more about that.
No, please do. That'd be great.
Okay,
Thanks, Carly.
Hi, Rick. I'm Steve Andrews. You were bringing back memories. I used to work for United Parcel Service, so in the industrial engineering and with the IT guys. So a lot of what you're saying is like, oh yeah, this is all coming back to me. Questions. One is, so I teach cybersecurity and network support for our students. Do you mentioned your IT support. Do you have, is that internal or is that contracted? Or is that something that is internal to your company? And a little more abstract question, on the drivers, do you know, with these feeder trucks, you know, coming across, do you see real changes happening in the next 8 years with automation and the self-driving trucks and everything else? Is that going to become, is that sort of job going to go away, or I'm just curious about that?
No, great question, Steve. Well, first of all, the first thing on the IT, we're kind of a size company in that we don't have an IT department, but I know a lot of our colleague companies outsource it all. We have a full-time IT guy, kind of a system administrator, because computers and security and all that stuff, we want to be real hands-on with that. So he's on 24/7. So we have that, and we outsource a lot of pieces. So, we have an offline, we host our server outside with somebody. We have a lot of security handled outside. So, we have one core guy the inside, but we believe very strongly in finding experts because he's kind of a generalist. But,
Right. So do you
that's-
outsource to another company then that does your IT support?
Yes. Yep. So we have different pieces. We have multiple people we do it with. So in fact,
I see. Okay.
it's interesting. We just talked about hiring kind of an internal IT guy that would oversee all of our software and help integrate our software. And that's what we're talking about right now is could we have someone that really get every piece of software we have talking? Because we have multiple systems and as companies do, I'm sure you guys have a problem, a lot of you is you have different systems trying to talk to different people and you have someone coordinate that and try to find it safer. So unfortunately, that's above my pay grade, that stuff. So happy to be on a Zoom call. Answer your question about the, I think the future, autonomous trucks are coming. There's no doubt about it. There's too much money being spent on it. The big boys are talking about it. I mean, you read about Nikola, which we've been involved with those guys and they moved here and they're going to build the trucks, and they're starting to sign deals with Anheuser-Busch and GM's buying a part of them. That tells me is there's some smart people that know they need to get on board. So I definitely think it's coming. I think there'll always be a need for drivers though. I mean, you get city driving, you get into loading docks and all that. I think that's still a few years away, but we talk all the time just internally about how they say the rate of change is going faster than ever before. And you kind of go, we think we've just about invented everything. And then we laugh and no, it's coming fast. So with mind, my guess is autonomous trucks. I would think 3 to 5 years you'll start to see them. And I think it'll start on interstates going from Los Angeles to Phoenix, for instance.
Exactly.
It'll come to a warehouse period, and then the humans will take over from there. But there's a tremendous opportunity at efficiency by doing that. So, yep, it's coming.
Thank you.
We also had a question in the chat about internships. Rick, do you offer internships for high school students? And this teacher specifically is with the Phoenix Coding Academy, and so is specifically thinking about software development and cybersecurity, but also just a great question for all of our teachers, internships or any kind of work-based learning experience for students.
You know what? Yes, we do. We've typically done more college internships. We've done them. They're more specific, but I think it's interesting to do it when they're younger. I mean, for one reason, quite selfishly, it'd be neat to have kids come in that say, hey, this is kind of cool what I'm doing, and it might lead to a job. I know kids don't stay in jobs like they used to. It's now you figure you have your third job by the time you're 25, which is kind of the norm. But we kind of the reason we did with college students is we got a couple people who became long-term employees over it. So I think it would have to be very specific, almost project driven. And we normally, our busy season is the summer, which obviously plays into kids aren't in school in the summer. So that's normally the time they do it. So I guess what I would offer would be this. If anyone has ideas that says, hey, we'd really love, we got a skill set that our kids have, would you ever consider that? Absolutely. I mean, I'm going through that and as a parent right now, my daughter's going through the internship process right now, and the valuable stuff she's getting out of it is something I'd love to be able to share. We have a little saying, my brother and me, about we want to leave the world a little better place than we found it, more from a business standpoint. And those are the little things that, you feel good about yourself that you're helping people. So, again, it would have to be probably project driven, but absolutely, we'd love to do more of it for the younger because they're so moldable when they're young. Okay, well, why don't we go on? And if anyone has anything else, they obviously can bring it up. But let me go on to the last part, which I'm just going to rattle off some thoughts that I have. And again, one of them just in the the category of career preparation is something it's kind of personal to me because I've been dealing with my kids and kind of almost to your point, Cindy, as well. We've had some young people that came in and I'm like, how can I help them succeed in business? I mean, I've got a marketing manager that she's a fresh out of ASU. So she graduated, we hired her when she graduated. I expected 1 to 2 years from her. I just think that's kind of the shelf life of someone like that there aren't a lot of marketing opportunities at Dircks. We have a department of one. She's going on 4 years. She's finished her 4th year with us. And it's really been cool because she is good at what she does. And this is what she wants to do, not forever, but she keeps challenged by it and all that, which I think is kind of fun. So, and I was coaching her when she first started that I don't expect you to stay long, which probably was stupid on my part to say it. And she did. So, anyway, with that, I've got six points to make. And I don't know if later, Casey, if we're going to have like the PowerPoint that can be shared or not, but I've certainly got that. In fact, I should probably share, I should be able to share that, I assume, can I, without too much bandwidth, or is that a bad idea, do you think?
No, I would say try that.
Okay. Let's go to the next step of doing that then. I'm not going to give this one too long though after the last time. I think I got this.
Yeah, we can see it now. You just got it.
Okay. Whoops, I just went too far. Okay, so here are the career preparation tips I wanted to mention to everybody. First of all, what I would suggest is to kids, start by dreaming. What is it you want to do? What would be my perfect outcome? As opposed to a guy like me, I said, I think my dream was I was going to be an office manager. So that wasn't exactly the funnest thing to ever want to do, but that was on my mind as a kid, and that I didn't do much dreaming, I can tell you that. So I think the best way to start it, and let's let kids dream, and hopefully parents and teachers really foster more of that. And I know, like in the case of my oldest daughter is now a nurse. She wanted to get in the medical world. She wants to help people. That's her deal, and she wanted to do it from square one. So she kind of got pointed in that direction just because she wanted to. She started with that dream. So I think why not dream at the top? Well, don't dream to be the president. I don't think that's a very good dream, but that's personal opinion. So anyway, secondly, find your passion, because if you have a passion, you're going to be good at it. I notice that employees all the time. I know the difference between an employee that feels the passion to do something versus the person that's going through the motions. And I kind of feel sorry for that person going through the motions. It's like life's too short not to try to do something fun. So, really fight to find something you really enjoy. My younger daughter she's a marketing student at ASU, ready to graduate this year. She's got a heart for nonprofit, and that's her passion, and she's found it. And in fact, she had a passion for teaching when she was younger, and then for whatever reason, it kind of converted over to nonprofit. But a lot of the same elements there. She wants to help people. She likes to do the right thing for people and all that. So she went to look for her passion, and hopefully she'll find that in her work. Keep an open mind. I think sometimes we have a tendency to be kind of a closed book. So I think it's really important to let your mind wander, look at different things. I know a lot of people, parents, kind of push them to a certain direction and try to keep that mind as open as we can. We always let our kids be very independent thinkers, which got us in trouble once in a while, but by and large, it kept their minds open. I think I see a lot of kids, in that college age. I deal with a lot of college students in various programs over at ASU, and there's a lot of stress on kids today. I mean, I've heard some scary statistics just about kids that go through the high amount of stress they do. And I try to emphasize, at least to mine, who are the ones I have a little bit of control over still, is don't stress so much, especially when you're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. You probably haven't found your career path yet. Don't worry about that job being the perfect job. Just do your best, and things will have a tendency to take care of themselves. I mean, my career path was literally, I did a couple jobs and I got into moving because my dad had been in it. And honestly, I didn't know what else to do and didn't know how to do anything else. And I was pretty stressed out about it, and I, found a career in it. So the next one I would probably submit is the most important one of all of these 6 points is build a network. And a lot of kids don't have the ability to do a very good job of it. They're shy, they're withdrawn, they don't know a lot of people. Use what you can use. I was saying that my kids are sick of hearing, and when I start saying it, they'll finish it for me now, but it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think that's really, really important. And even if you're not an outgoing person, who do your parents know? Your friends' parents, your relatives. It's amazing the number of people that you connect with that can help you. If you have an interest in being a fireman and your best friend's dad is a fireman, pick his brain, talk to him about it. Doesn't mean you have to go to networking groups at age 19. I just think it's really, really important. My daughter has an internship at St. Vincent de Paul simply because I'm on an advisory board there. So I knew someone. It was very easy to get her on there, and she's really happy about it. So I just think to build a network in your own way with your own personality is really critical in ways that interest you. And the last one is really a general one, but it's a little bit disturbing to me. Again, some people learn about money as best as you can. I know it's not taught enough when they're young. I did junior achievement for my kids when they were, I think it's 5th grade, that program. Absolutely loved it, how to learn about money. And I think we got to learn as young as we can, because suddenly a lot of kids are 18 or out of the house. You just became an adult, and you better learn money then. So those are my points about career preparation. And then my final thing is just 7 items on interviewing. I've interviewed a lot of people in my, I guess, close to 40 years now in management. And there are a few things that drive me absolutely crazy that are such simple things that anybody can do. So I'll go through these relatively quickly. Be on time. I cannot tell you in a good economy like we've had, the number of people that don't show up for an interview, or the number of people that are late or don't follow up. And I don't understand it. And you put yourself ahead of 3/4 of your competitors for positions just to do things like show up on time. I mean, those are the things I look at. If you can't show up on time for an interview, chances are you probably won't be able to show up on time for work or do a project on time or whatever. So, boy, be on time, get there a little bit early. And I also will say this, do as I say, not as I do. I'm not always so great at this, but when you're interviewing, do it. Second is just confirm and follow up. If you have an interview, you have a meeting, it never hurts to send an email ahead of time to say, want to confirm 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's what I call in sales. I lead our sales team at Dircks, and I always talk about touch points. You want to try to touch customers and prospects as much as you can, because they get to know you better, they become more comfortable with you. Same thing with the job interview. Confirm it. Now, I'm already more impressed with somebody because they did that step ahead. And the same thing at the other end, follow up. A really simple email when you're done to say, thanks for your time, I appreciate it. Look forward to talking again. Very simple to do and really, really powerful for an employer because it sets yourself apart. Number 3, do your homework. Learn a little about the company. I'm very impressed when someone knows a little something about my company or maybe about me. I know me, again, on my sales side. I'll look people up on LinkedIn to learn more about them. If I know they went to U of A, I'm going to be a little more careful about my ASU roots. If things as silly as that. But if you can do your homework a little bit on people and be able to work in an interview, you'll dazzle the interviewer. Just a simple thing like a dress code. If you're not sure whether to dress up or dress down, I was always try dress a little nicer than you probably think you should. You're never going to get penalized for overdressing. And in interviews, it's amazing how people come in jeans and t-shirts and people come in suits for the same position. So, again, it's a judgment call, but try to dress a little nicer than you think.
Hey, Rick. I just wanted to give you a quick heads up. You got about 5 minutes left, and we do have one question in the chat.
Gotcha. I'll do this in 1.5 minutes. But this is the biggest trait, I think. And again, I'm a sales guy at heart. It's what I still do with my job. And the biggest trait you can be likable. People like you. They want to deal with you. They want to work with you. They want to do business with you. They just want to be around you. So do your best to be likable in an interview, which ties in with be yourself and be real. Just, be natural and talk. It's only an interview. This is not the end of the world for you. So just be yourself. And I would rather have somebody fumble by being themselves and be real than be stuffy and say all the right things. They'll come off as much better in an interview. And the final thing, flattery will get you everywhere. I mean, tell people, I like your office. You know, tell people this, you know, this looks like a great place to work. Flattery is a really powerful personal tool, I think. Okay, that's it for me. I'm going to see if I can unshare this. Should I see? I'm not going to try to see if I get on the screen, or else I'll screw it all up again. So, questions?
No, that's great. We have one question, and this teacher is she has a social studies students, and some of them are identified as special ed and some of them aren't. But what are the skills that you look for in an employee that she can incorporate into her classroom? And then what are the attitudes that you're looking for towards working?
Boy, I like people that have get along ability, if that's a word. You know, when you're at work, be friendly to people, be polite. I know some people like to work in their own space, and that's okay. Some people are very awkward around other people, and I don't expect you to change that, but at least be polite. Smile when you can smile. You know, I'm looking for people that can kind of fit in. And fitting in doesn't mean be one of the gang and hang out with them or anything else. Fitting in just means, hey, you can work with others. You can be a team member. I mean, just as a general rule for a trait of somebody, I mean, I want people that can think for themselves, some that want to try hard, that, you know, are pleasant. I mean, basic human traits, basic traits that anybody would want to be around you because you exhibit those traits. I think those are the most important things you can do, because it's a social world we live in, and working, you work with other people unless you're home working, which is different. There was a question up.
Yeah, so big emphasis on soft skills. And
soft skills are more important any day of the week than the hard skills, without doubt. Me.
Yeah, and so we have one more question to wrap it up. But oh, Carly, thanks. Do you have any email? She wants to know your email and any other contact information to share. Also, any other materials or collateral that you do want to share, you can email Kim. I know you've been in contact with Kim, and then she can also distribute it out.
Okay, good. I can do that. Well, my email address, which is the best way to find me, I'm one of these guys with my my emails on my phone, and it goes with me. I'm kind of a 24/7. I'm one of the few people in the world that takes a vacation, and I respond to emails and all that. I don't have vacation. I'd rather deal with it now than have to deal with it when I come home. So, but my email, the easy way to find me is rdircks@dircks.com. So it's just rdircks@dircks.com. And there it is on the screen. So please feel free at any time. I mean, I love interacting with people, and I'm one of these, I'm a lifelong learner without question. I always want to get better, do things different, all that kind of stuff. So any interactions anybody wants to have with me, I'm all in, and I do respond. One of my pet peeves in the world, people that don't respond. It's like, please just say, hey, drop dead, I want to talk to you. That's okay too.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Rick. This has been such a great experience. And Cindy, do you have any other final thoughts before we let everyone hop off?
No, again, just echo Casey, Rick, thank you so much. And thank you to Cohort B for being here. I know this was a great session to kick it off, and it'll be really interesting, I think, for us to see over the course of the next several days, what are some common themes that we hear, because I bet there will be common themes. But Rick, really appreciate your information and kind of the variety of different careers and roles within your industry. It's really helpful for us to begin to see lots of different opportunities for students, so we can begin to really share those with our kids. And thanks too for the salary info as well, because that's really important information that a lot of times we don't know about that. We don't know what to share with our kids, and I appreciate the emphasis on financial aspects too. So thanks so much, and thank you for sharing your contact information.
My pleasure. Yeah, please feel free to contact me with anything you might want to know about. I'm happy to share. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Cohort B, we'll see you again tomorrow, the same time.
Thank you.
Different.
Hey,
Zoom.
thank you so much, Mr. Dircks, for your time. Thank you.
My pleasure. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.